Welcome to our presentation on protecting and preserving your asphalt investment. This is presented by Seale Distributing. You can visit our website at hawkseale.com or email us sales@hawkseale.com. How can we preserve and extend the life of pavement? Preserving pavement is a huge concern whether you are a homeowner, a business person, a city or a county, or an engineer who is in charge of highway maintenance. In general, very few of us know why our driveways, parking lots, and streets deteriorate while we spend millions trying to extend the life of asphalt. And have you ever wondered why private drives, bicycle paths, and parking lots tend to go to pot faster than streets? That's been a question I've had for years. We will answer these and other questions in this mini pavement maintenance seminar. To be honest, the asphalt industry has not been interested in protecting and preserving asphalt in the past. Cheap oil and the need to dispose of waste from the petroleum production made asphalt and the many coatings used to make asphalt pretty are a perfect dumping ground for the petroleum industry. The asphalt industry has developed many different coatings and so-called sealers to make asphalt look pretty. Many of these coatings are applied annually or every couple of years in the guise of protecting the asphalt. Some coatings actually shorten the life of asphalt. In this presentation, we'll explain the difference between topical asphalt coatings and newer scientifically designed sealer from Seale that will permanently protect and preserve your asphalt. Weathering and oxidation starts immediately and is the major cause of pavement failure, and it occurs throughout the life of the pavement. The majority of damage occurs during the first 2 to 4 years before the pavement is protected from absorbing moisture. Typically, sealers are not applied until years later when some form of deterioration is already beginning to show. People tend to want to get some use out of the pavement before they think about spending more money to preserve it, and this delay in sealing the pavement sets the stage for early failure and a shorter lifespan for the pavement. Weathering and oxidation removes the light asphalt particles from the surface of the pavement through evaporation. This causes the top half inch of the pavement to dry out and become more brittle than the rest of the pavement. This brittleness begins the premature cracking and/or raveling of the surface, opening up the pavement to moisture and damage from freeze and thaw cycles in the north and extreme hot weather and rain cycles in the south. Traditional sealers provide more aesthetics than protection. They fail to address the primary cause of pavement failure, which is water getting into the pavement structure. In fact, they can actually trap moisture in the pavement, causing more damage. When construction is finished, the typical level of compaction leaves the asphalt with 5 to 8% air voids that take in moisture. Summer heat then causes the moisture to evaporate, taking the lights out of the asphalt with it. Lights are the smaller asphalt molecules, similar to the difference between the viscosity of diesel and gasoline. This evaporation is what you smell on hot summer days waiting in traffic or walking across parking lots. And we all know what that's like. This evaporation reduces the ability of the asphalt in the pavement to hold the aggregate tight, allowing the pavement to begin cracking, which allows even more moisture to penetrate the pavement. Over time, the moisture gets through the pavement and into the base, which leads to alligating, potholes, and more repair, and eventually the high cost of overlay or replacement. Have you ever noticed those little volcanoes in freshly sealed asphalt where sealers or crack fillers have been applied? They're really pretty small, and you kind of got to watch for them, but they usually have a little hole in the top of that little volcano about the size of the lead in a pencil. That's where the moisture is pushed up through the asphalt coatings, creating small vent steam holes for the steam to escape. On hot summer days on fresh asphalt, you can smell the lights and the steam as it rises and takes the light asphalt particles with it. This dries out the asphalt in the process of making it brittle and also makes more room for water for the next cycle of evaporation. Asphalt maintenance methods are fog seal, slurry seal, chip seal, cape seal, microsurfacing, open graded friction course, and coal tar pavement sealers. We'd like to introduce you to Seal. It's a true penetrating sealer formulated to penetrate the pavement, filling the cracks and voids with a silicone-like barrier, preventing moisture from entering the pavement permanently. Once cured, it is impervious to moisture, all fuels and oils, and stops further deterioration of the pavement. Seal replaces the light asphalt particles that have evaporated from the pavement by UV rays and heat, which stops further deterioration of the pavement. Seal's molecular structure is heavier than water. It is positively charged to pull the product into the pavement. The extract in the Seal softens the asphalt in the pavement to allow coal palmers to adhere to the asphalt and aggregate in the pavement, sealing the pavement from the bottom up. Seal sets up like silicone in the pavement and is fully cured in 7 to 10 days. And once it becomes cured, it's impervious to the elements and becomes a permanent part of the pavement. Seal will penetrate other sealers and coatings. It will penetrate through diesel fuel and oil spills. Minimal preparation is needed other than to remove debris. Fill the cracks larger than 3/16 of an inch with a good quality crack filler. And then Seal C is designed for concrete application and is ideal for bridge decks, streets, driveways, and parking lots. Seal E and C are both water-based and will not harm the environment. They will not injure birds, insects, animals, or humans. They won't damage streams, ponds, or rivers, and they won't make the streets slippery. We recommend that it is not ingested, which means don't drink the stuff, and gloves and eye protection are recommended. If you're like me, when you're evaluating something, it's nice to know what others with first-hand knowledge about that product or service have to say. Here's W.H. Reynolds from Paragould, Arkansas, an engineer with over 50 years of experience in the asphalt industry, and whose credentials including writing the manuals, asphalt pavement design, and maintenance and repair of local streets for the state of Arkansas. This is what he has to say about his experience with Seal. I have personally had projects with Seal E for the past 9+ years in Paragould and Marion, Arkansas. I have tried or observed many different sealers in the past 46 years. Very few were penetrating sealers. The Seal E coal palmer formula forms a flexible sealer similar to silicone. It is the only one I've had success with. The moisture fills and seals the pavement cracks and voids from the bottom up, preventing moisture from entering the pavement. This is one of the reasons I like Seal E. In addition, most cities and counties have very little control over the asphalt mix as it is laid. There is very little inspection or testing, if any, during the production, laydown, and compaction of the hot mix pavement. Excuse me. Seal E can eliminate and delay many of the common problems that stem from poor construction. Typically, 3 applications will seal most pavements. Pavement that is poorly constructed or not compacted well can take extra applications. The application process is simple and fairly quick, requiring minimal downtime and equipment. Slow-moving traffic can be allowed to continue, and Seal typically cures for traffic within 30 minutes to an hour. This photo of the west end of Red Oak Street was taken 18+ years after being sealed with Seal E. Red Oak was 5 years old when it was sealed in 1998, and it was one of the very first streets sealed with Seal E. This street is going on 24 years of service without deterioration. Notice the pavement in the foreground is of the intersection that was not sealed and how it is cracked up. Here's the unsealed east end of the same Red Oak Street. This end of the street will soon require extensive overlay. Here's a close-up photo comparing the sealed and unsealed portions of Red Oak Street. Notice how the cracking stops near the treated line. Once applied, Seale literally stops further deterioration of the pavement. The pavement will stay in its current condition unless damaged by heavy equipment or unusual traffic. Here's side-by-side photos of the opposite ends of Red Oak Street, 18 plus years after being sealed with Seale. Seale eliminates the maintenance cycle of crack filling, patching, and the ultimate cost of high overlay. Seale is one of the best investments in pavement today. At the time Red Oak Street was sealed, no one knew how long or how well Seale would work. 20 years later, with no deterioration of the asphalt, it has far exceeded the expectations of our chemist and engineer. Seale is the only product on the market that has pavement still in the original new-like condition after 25 years with just one application. That is a marvel in itself. Seale is applied as an opaque stain similar to Thompson wood seal for wood. Center lines and parking striping will remain visible. This saves time and expense of remeasuring and marking. It will not permanently stain cars, signs, or other objects. It is non-toxic and washes off with water prior to drying. Traffic will not affect it prior to the complete drying within 30 to 45 minutes. It can be applied at 56 degrees ground temperature and rising and does not make the surface slippery. It fully cures and becomes impervious after 7 to 10 days. In the photos below, you can see how it's absorbed like a stain with minimal coloring. The center line is still visible after 4 applications in the photo on the right. Asphalt has no structural strength. It relies on the underlying base to support it. As asphalt dries out and deteriorates, it takes in more moisture. Once this moisture reaches the underlying base, soft spots and potholes begin to appear. So protecting the pavement from moisture is the key to longevity. Curb and gutter, along with proper drainage and shoulder maintenance and ditching, are very important in keeping the underlying base dry to support the pavement. Have you ever wondered why asphalt driveways and parking lots seem to deteriorate faster than streets? Without compaction from heavier traffic, driveways, bike trails, and parking lots begin to decompress, and then they absorb more moisture, and they begin to deteriorate quickly and require more and more maintenance as time goes on. Do-it-yourselfers will appreciate the labor savings and the elimination of having to reseal their driveways every couple years. Our one-time application won't cost any more than the best home improvement store coating, and Seale can eliminate that ongoing expense and work of maintaining your driveway and parking lots, give you more time for fishing and hunting and ball games or whatever. Our sealer truck dripped Seale on this pavement overnight. The photo was taken 10 years later. Notice the cracking stopped from all directions when it reached the drip area. Seale literally stops the deterioration of the pavement. This photo was actually the thing that convinced me that Seale was definitely a product that I would like to be involved with. And I put this slide in just for that reason. I was impressed. I had looked down the street and I saw this spot about 200 feet down the street. I thought, what is that? I mean, it stood out like a sore thumb. Actually, it looks like a thumbprint, doesn't it? But I walked down there and took this picture, and I talked to the chemist and who had developed the product, and he explained the story that they had left the truck there overnight and it had dripped out on the street. The rest of the street hasn't been sealed. It does need to be sealed, of course, and this proves it. But anyway, I thought this was a very compelling photo. The Seale SOS program, which is selective overlay and sealing program, combining corrective maintenance with preventative maintenance, can save a lot of money for cities and municipalities. Where you permanently seal your good pavements which will eliminate the high cost of crack filling and pothole repairs and increase the life of the pavements. In this photo, you'll notice in the background they put down a new overlay, and in the foreground they permanently sealed it with Seale. We'll come back here in a couple of years now, or maybe even next year, and seal the overlay. Maintenance costs keep rising, and cities and counties and states can cut their maintenance costs substantially by eliminating and reducing road repairs. Our cities and counties that have been using the Seale SOS program have been saving up as much as 40% in their road budgets. It really cuts down on the patching and milling and leveling up, and of course those expensive overlays. Seldom does the entire highway or street need to be overlaid, and up to 5 times the road can be sealed with less downtime and disruption of traffic compared to overlaying, and traffic can continue at slow speeds while we seal them. Seale adds many years of service for the fraction of the cost of an overlay. We joke that our Seale applicators are kind of like being Maytag repairmen. They just don't get called back. We have pothole patches that were placed and treated with Seale 9 years ago, and they're still in place. Here's a pavement patch that was on a 2-year-old pavement that was cut for a utility. It was repaired and treated with 3 applications of Seale, and it's still in place with no deterioration after 9 years. So Seale works equally well in hot or cold climates. In cold climates, it breaks that freeze and thaw cycle that typically shortens the life of the pavement, pops out those patches and so forth. In hot climates, it prevents the ongoing evaporation and drying out of the asphalt. It reduces some of the rutting that goes on. Up to 5 times the road can be sealed compared to the cost of overlaying, and slowing down and eliminating the cycle repairs and overlays. Implementing the Seale program can greatly reduce maintenance budgets by as much as 40% over time. Here's what Andy Dedman from Cabot, Arkansas had to say. He said over the years they experimented with different sealers trying to find a way to get their streets to last longer. They found that Seale E works better than anything. They had started about 5 years ago. At this review, he says, we believe if you can get to it before it becomes brittle and before it cracks, it can extend the life up to 3 times the normal lifespan. He says the average lifespan of asphalt street is 10 years. Actually, he's from Cabot, and this is where some of those photos were taken, where the Red Oak Street is now 24 years old and looks just like new. What he's saying is really what's happening here. Andy's been around in this type of work for 30 years, and he says no matter where you work, they want you to save money, and that's one thing he likes about Seale. It's very cost effective. Gene Yarborough from Star City says we've been fortunate to have a lot of growth in their little town. He says we have a low budget. We're trying to figure out if we could salvage some of the streets and they keep them from alligating. So when Seale was presented, he says they gave it a try on a half-mile or so. Had good success. He said if he felt like it did what he wanted it to, it kept the water out of the streets. He says we've been doing some every year, 4 to 5 miles of sealer a year, and they've pretty much sealed every street in their town. In closing there in the bottom, he says he thinks that Seale has reduced their street maintenance by at least 40%. That is significant, and as a taxpayer, even if you don't have any asphalt of your own, is surely something that you should be talking about to your city people. And you can visit our website at hawkseale.com. We have more reviews on there, a ton of videos and frequently asked questions and things. You can literally be an asphalt expert when you get done looking at everything that we've got on there. This driveway is ready to be sealed with Seale. It was previously sealed with a topical sealer 3 years prior. This photo shows the first application of Hawk Seale. Hawk Seale goes on like a thin chocolate milk, which turns milky white. The first application will typically take half the total sealer needed, and you apply the sealer to the point of runoff. The asphalt will actually dictate how much it needs. As it dries, it will show up. The areas that need more sealer will dry quicker. This photo then shows the third and final application for this driveway. Each successive application will take less and less sealer, and as you're going down the street or down the driveway, you'll find your third coats, and as that asphalt gets filled, you're going to have to move faster and faster. The total application rate is typically 0.35 to 0.42 gallons per square yard. Hawk Seale dries in 30 to 45 minutes depending on the temperature and the sun, so it's minimal disruption. Like this family, they asked, well, how many days before they could drive on it? I said, you'll be able to drive on it about 30-45 minutes after we leave. And the pavement will dictate how much sealer, as we talked about here. When the cracks and voids and fissures become full, the sealer will begin to puddle or run off. This is the finished photo of the driveway. Hawk Seale is opaque in color, and the final color will depend on other factors such as previous topical sealers. Hawk Seale will tend to bring out the black in topical sealers. Asphalt that's not been coated prior to Hawk Seale will normally have a soft brown color. This 3-year-old pavement was set up for premature failure. The aggregates seemed to have segregated during construction, and possibly it was laid cold, and as a result it did not compact well. The surface was full of tiny inch to inch and a half long cracks, which allowed the moisture to penetrate the asphalt and was really going to set this up for a short-lived driveway. 4 applications of Hawk Seale was applied to fill the cracks, voids, and fissures. The pavement is now 6 years old with no additional deterioration or cracking. This driveway had never been coated prior to being sealed with Hawk Seale, and this photo shows the tan color of the Hawk Seale when applied to asphalt that's not been previously coated with anything. This tan color will darken and then gradually fade. Any low spots will hold water, as you can see in this picture, until it evaporates, as it can no longer be absorbed in the pavement. As we wrap up our presentation with this comparison slide, we just ask, which pavement would you prefer to have 25 years down the road? Hawk Seale is the only product on the market that has pavements in original new-like condition after 25 years with 1 application. And as we noted earlier, that if you're a do-it-yourselfer, our product won't cost any more to put on than a high-dollar, good-quality home improvement store sealer that's just topical. And probably will do more damage to your pavement than it'll help it. We have applicators and we have plan designs and so forth, so if you want to do your own, we certainly can help you that way. So we hope you found this presentation informative, and we'll share it with your neighbors and your local street departments. You know, we all have a financial interest as taxpayers in the cost of maintaining not only our driveways and parking lots, but also our entire road system. And if we can get the word out and that more of our pavements can be sealed and last longer and save us tax money, it'll make us all happier, and we can use those dollars for better things in our communities. In closing, Hawk Seale Distributing is a national distributor. It ensures you that you're getting the best pricing available. We can ship in 5-gallon pails, 15, 30, and 55-gallon drums, and 275-gallon totes. We have factory representatives available for any questions in regard to our products, application, and pricing. We encourage you to contact us for a quote. And dealers' inquiries are welcome. You know, we're looking for dealers. So if you're have an interest in or in the sealer business, we'd welcome a conversation. You can visit our website for more information at hawkseale.com or email us at sales@hawkseale.com. Thank you for watching our presentation, and we wish you a good day.